and it's not $200 that you have to pay for every year. It's paid up. Okay, so your premium doesn't change, but instead of getting $1 million, now you get $1 million and plus $200, and your premium hasn't changed. Okay. All right, paid up additions. That's what this is called. Okay. It's just an amount of death benefit that is added, tacked on. Paid up additions. I'm telling you, when I took the CFP exam for insurance, it was one exam that covered 1,000 pages, and it covered all insurance, all risk and insurance on one exam. You talk about a lot of details to remember. It's a lot of details. You guys have the benefit of having it broken up, and I think you learn it better that way, honestly. But okay, another option. So paid up additions is whole life. Now you have the purchase of term insurance. Okay? So that adds, let's see, okay, this is called the fifth dividend option. Okay? 2 forms. So the amount of the dividend buys 1 year of term insurance. Okay, so they look to see how much term insurance you can buy, and then they accumulate any leftover. Okay? And you can either earn interest on it or buy paid up insurance. Let's see. Let's look at an example. So a $50 dividend could buy up to $10,000 of renewable term. Okay? So that's a 1-year policy. So you're using the dividend basically to buy a separate policy. You're buying $10,000 of term for 1 year with this $50 dividend. That's what you're doing. Yeah, it gets a little hairy, doesn't it? All of a sudden you're looking at it going, man, you're giving me too many options. Tell me what to do. Okay? Okay. You can accumulate the dividends to the point where you have enough cash value to stop paying premiums. Okay? And they'll take it out of the cash value, and your death benefit will not be affected by it. Paid up means you won't have to pay any premiums anymore. Okay? But when you do that, your cash value doesn't grow at the same rate. Okay? Because the premiums are deducted from it. So if you make that decision, you can say, you can call your insurance agent and say, okay, do I have enough cash value to continue my $1 million policy? And how long will it last? You know? And so he or she will look at it and say, okay, you've got 10 years worth of cash value. You can stop paying the premiums for 10 years before you run out of cash value. Okay? And after that, you better make sure you start paying your premiums again, because if you don't, the policy will lapse. And by the way, if you won't have, that cash value is going to dwindle. Okay? So if you think you can go in and borrow against it, you won't be able to, because there won't be enough in there to borrow. Again, nothing is free. Okay, mature a policy as an endowment, and okay, and an endowment means that you take the benefit out, the death benefit. That's when a policy matures. You take the death benefit before you die. Before you die. Watch out for taxes when you do this. That turns your insurance policy into an investment contract. You're making contributions into it, and then at some point you take your $1 million death benefit, and that's a form of an investment. And you got to be careful, because remember that if you die, the death benefit is not taxable as income, but it could be taxable as part of an estate. Remember that. The lump sum that's paid out is not taxable to the beneficiary. But if it goes into an estate, it could tip the estate in excess of the standard deduction and the stepped up basis, and you could have estate taxes to pay on it.
Isn't the standard deduction supposed to be in the future $1 million? They're trying to lower it.
Yeah, I think Biden wants to lower it to $1.5 million. I think it's $1.5 million.
What's the tax rate on that?
You'd have to look at it. I'm not sure. And the tax rates, the state tax rates tend to be high, pretty high.
40% or so?
So yeah, thereabouts. It's really high. And the issue with that is, here's the argument for the estate tax, is that you don't want to keep people entrenched in wealth. That's the argument. They say every generation should have to work. So if generation 1 strikes it big, okay, what are the consequences of that for the family? Okay, will generation 2 and beyond be spoiled brats who will have power over other people because of that wealth? Or do you want to remove that? And that's part of the income inequality question in this country. You know, so you have to take a hard look at it and say, okay, what are the benefits and what are the costs? Okay. Generally speaking, you know, I understand some of the benefits of it, but you have to be aware of the fact that you are discouraging people from working hard and taking risks when you do that. Why would you take a risk with your money? Because if you strike it big, once you die, it's going to the government. That's what you're telling people. Don't work hard. Don't take those extra hours away from the family, because it's going to all be paid taxes. So you got to be careful with that. All right. Non-forfeiture. Non-forfeiture. Okay. Paying to someone the cash surrender value. So someone says, I need my money, okay, and I'm not going to borrow it. I want to give up my policy. Whoops. All right. So the owner, not the beneficiary, but the owner has the right to the cash value that's accumulated, that's been paid in, okay? So what are the non-forfeiture options? How can you get a hold of that money? All right. All right. So we looked at that. The first 5 years, there's a big difference between the cash value and the surrender value. Okay? Because of expenses. The cash value will be a lot higher than the surrender value. It's like, yeah, but it says my cash value is $15,000. Yeah, but because of expenses, you're only going to get $9,000 out of it. The rest of your money went to pay commissions and other expenses. All right, so once again, why does somebody do this? Because they need the cash and they don't have any other options. Okay? Where can you go to get cash? Once again, the wife has got to track down the bookie. All right. Man, look at these insurance companies. You got to look your bookie in the eye and say, go ahead and kneecap me. I've already filed for the surrender value, but it's going to take 6 months. You know? And can you think of a situation where you might have to have cash real fast? How about medical condition? That's big time. You know, where it's emergency and you really don't have time to plan for it. Okay, you might say college, but you know, hopefully you've had time to plan for college. Your parents have had time to plan for college. But a lot of times a medical emergency can come up, and man, you got to have that $5,000 deductible to pay. All right. All right. So you take the cash out, or you can have reduced paid up insurance. Okay. What does that mean? All right. So you're not looking for the cash. You just want to stop paying premiums. How much paid up insurance will your cash value buy you? Your budget's gotten tight. You can't afford the $250 a month for your life insurance policy, for your $1 million life insurance policy. So you call your agent and say, listen, I can't afford it anymore. Okay? I'm out of work right now. So what I want to do is use my cash value. How much paid up insurance can I get? And he says, okay, it's a $1 million policy. You can get a $350,000 paid up policy. You're covered for $350,000. You don't have to pay any more premiums. Okay. Okay, so that's what that's for. You don't get cash. Now there may be some combination where you take some of the cash out and leave some of the cash in. Say, listen, I need $5,000. What's my cash surrender value? Your cash surrender value is $10,000. Okay, well I got to have $5,000 right now. So what I'd like to do is take $5,000 out and leave $5,000 in there. How much paid up insurance can the remaining $5,000 buy? With $350,000. Okay, we'll do that. And again, most of the time when people do this, they're under pressure. Okay? All right, extended term. Okay? So, this is basically a form of paid up insurance. Okay? How long, for how many years can my cash value support this policy? Okay, and so what you're saying is, I need $1 million worth of coverage under all circumstances, okay? But I only need it for 10 years. Once my kids turn 25, you know, I want to make sure I'm covered. My kids are covered until I'm 25, until my kids are 25. After that, they're on their own, okay? So you might pull your cash value out or use your cash value to pay up term insurance. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, so this shows you, okay, in the first 2 years there's nothing, no value there. So in the third year, your cash value, your surrender value is $400. This will get you $2,400 worth of whole life that never goes away, paid up. Or it will get you a term policy of $100,000 that will last for 1 year and 18 days. Okay? So you can see how these values go down, or actually grow, while you're making the premiums. Why do they grow? Because you're making the premiums. So you're in year 10, and your cash value is $8,000. That's the amount of money you've put in and the amount of money that's been earned. And during that period, you've also been covered if you had died. Okay? So That will buy you $34,300 worth of permanent whole life insurance. Okay? You never have to pay again on it. Or that'll pay you 11 years and 50 days of $100,000 coverage. Your choice. Your choice. Okay? All right. Okay, how do you receive the death benefit? Okay? So, you have to look at your policy and see if the owner or the beneficiary chooses how they're going to receive the proceeds. Now, of course, you know what the life insurance company wants to do. They want to hang on to the proceeds. Okay? All right. Common options. It's $100,000. Here's your check. Okay? The interest option is the insurer holds the proceeds and pays cash interest to the beneficiary. Okay? So the beneficiary might say, I don't want to burn through, or the owner might say, I don't want the beneficiary to burn through the principal. So pay the principal, pay interest out to the beneficiary. Okay? The beneficiary can periodically withdraw principal. Okay? These are all options. So that's the interest option. Okay? The fixed period option. So a specified payment is paid for a specified number of periods. Then it's done. So the key here is that you make sure that the beneficiary receives payments for a certain period of time. Guarantee me that the beneficiary will get paid for the next 15 years, for 15 years following my death. And I don't really care what the payment amount is. I care about how long they get paid. Fixed period. Now here we have the fixed payment. Okay, so with this, if the primary beneficiary dies before the period is up, then anything remaining goes to the contingent beneficiary. Okay? And again, this topic is on the licensing exams. Okay? Okay, then you have the fixed amount versus the fixed period. Fixed amount. Let me see how many I'm giving a test at 4. So, tell you what, let's go ahead and call it a day. Let's go ahead and call it a semester. So, let's stop this. Peace out, shalom. We'll continue on chapter 12.